Okay, everyone, welcome to the Simply Soccer podcast. We didn't have one last week. I wasn't able to get one out, but we do have one this week, as I'm sure you'll all be happy to hear. Anyway, let's get right into it. A few announcements I do have for you today. What is this, like the 8th podcast? Something like that. But the video course was just made live. So for those of you who want access to the video course, I will put a link in the description and in the comments for you to access. It's probably easier to access it from the description because the comments is weird with the links. So take a look at the description if you want to take a look at the video course I've been working months on. Now, for those of you who can't afford to pay for the video course, don't worry. There's actually a 7-day free trial. I do believe you have to put in some information in order to take the trial, but what you can do is you put in your information, you get your 7-day free trial, and then you can always withdraw your information and basically say, look, I don't want you to charge me. I just want the 7-day free trial. But for those of you who do have the money and are looking to significantly improve your game, you will definitely want to take a closer look at this course. I've designed it specifically to take any player that I can think of to that next level. So please take a look at the course. Even if you can't afford it, make sure you at least get the free trial, because I want every single one of my viewers to at least be able to get something out of it. So even if you can't pay for the full thing, get the free trial and learn as much as you can in those 7 days, okay? So we have a few good questions here today. Also, guys, the 5,000 subscriber special, I'm thinking of doing a Q&A. So if you have any questions for me you want answered on a Q&A, you can leave them in these comments. I'll also announce it in a different video as well, where I'll get more questions from you guys. I am thinking of doing some other thing as well besides a Q&A, but right now that's where we're at. So I think that's all the announcements today. Let's get right into your questions, and we've got quite a few here. And the first one we're looking at is speed genetic, or can you, work out to become faster, quicker, and all that? Now, this is a two-part question, or at least it's going to have a two-part answer, because the fact of the matter is you can definitely improve your speed, but there is a certain level of genetics involved. For example, I'm never going to be as fast as Usain Bolt. I'm also never going to be as fast as Eden Hazard or Cristiano Ronaldo. I just don't have that natural ability. However, I definitely can absolutely can improve my base speed. There is a certain level of genetics, but you can definitely get faster. Anyone who thinks that you can't get faster, that's not true. You can definitely do certain workouts, certain plyometric drills, sprint training, resistance training, things of that nature in order to improve your speed. And we're talking about sprint speed here too. Your agility especially can be improved, which is basically how fast you can move your feet, how quickly you can, accelerate, how quickly you can basically move side to side and things like that. Your agility, like how fast your feet are as well, that can definitely be worked on. And it doesn't really matter if you're a really quick sprinter or not in order to have quick feet. Like a good example of this is Adam Lallana. He has incredibly quick feet, but he's very slow when it comes to his sprint speed. So yes, there is a certain level of genetics involved with speed, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be trying to get faster and you shouldn't be training in order to improve your speed, because your base speed can be improved. I've made myself decently fast through training, even if I'm not gifted with the most natural speed. Okay, so that's a pretty simple question to get us started. So just remember, you can definitely work on your speed. It's not something that necessarily is only genetic. Again, you're not going to be Usain Bolt. You're probably not going to be Eden Hazard or Theo Walcott or Oxlade-Chamberlain or whatever, or wherever the fastest, or Bellerin, whoever the fastest player is. But you can definitely get better. You can definitely at least get your speed beyond the average. And usually because the average or below average are players who don't work on their speed. Okay, so the second question is, do you have a shooting drill you can give us? And sure, I'll give you the shooting drill I use in the course, the video course I mentioned. If you guys want to actually see this drill explained in depth and you want to see how it's done, definitely go and look at the course. Again, you have a 7-day free trial. Just go to the shooting or the finishing lesson in the course and you'll see exactly how to do the shooting drill I'm about to explain. So basically, you're going to need more than one ball for this. Shooting drills, usually if you want to get the most out of them, you're going to need more than one ball. You're going to need as many balls as you can gather. I have a bag of balls of like 6 or 7 balls that I'll take with me whenever I'm doing shooting drills. And we're talking about finishing drills right now. You can do shooting drills with one ball if you're just working on like your shooting technique, which I also go over in the course. If you want to improve like locking your ankle, leaning over the ball, and shooting technique, all you need then is a ball and a wall. But if you're going to work on your finishing, it's best to have a net, and even a goalie if you have a friend who wants to play goalie, but you don't need a goalie if you don't have access to someone who wants to be your goalie or whatever. So you just need a net and a ball. As many balls as possible. So all you're going to do, I'll give you the first drill. It's a very simple run on goal and try and find the corners of the net. Now, it sounds very, very simple, simplistic drill, but the point of this drill is to develop your muscle memory and your repetition in order to get to the point where when you're in a match and you find yourself in a finishing position, you've done it so many times in practice that it's easy for you to find the corners of the net. So basically, you're going to drive at the goal from an angle. Make sure you drive into the 18-yard box. You can practice your shots outside the 18-yard box, but let's work on getting your finishing really good inside the 18-yard box. So drive into the 18-yard box and do this at full speed. Don't, pretend there's a defender chasing you down. Whenever you do shooting practice, one-on-one move practice, really any type of practice, you have to pretend if there isn't someone on you or, you're practicing by yourself, you got to pretend there's someone who's desperate to get the ball off you. Pretend you're actually in a game and a defender is right on your back, and if you don't do it quickly, he's going to get the ball. So drive into the box, with speed, quickly adjust your body and find the opposite corner. You can go near post as well, but go near post or far post and keep doing that over and over again until you run out of balls, collect them. Then you're going to go to the other side of the 18-yard box and you're going to do it with your left foot or right foot, depending on which one you started with, and do the same thing. And you're going to do that back and forth multiple times until basically you can hit the corner almost every single time. Now, the important thing about this drill is you're not trying to smash the ball. You're not trying to put your laces through it. You're going to be side footing it or curling it into the corner. And you should be, if you want to become a good finisher, you need to get to the point where you can curl or side foot a ball into the corner almost every single time. Like if I walk up and I do this and I'm just trying to place it, I can usually hit the corner more times than not. So you want to be doing that. When you have 7 balls, I would say you want to be hitting that corner at least 5 times. And if you can do that, then you are getting really good at your finishing. Then you can mix it up. Make sure you're also not just going at angles. Make sure you're running straight onto the goal. So what I mean is in the middle. So in the middle of the 18-yard box, and then choose the one side or the other side and finish like that as well. You can get creative with this. You can practice rounding the keeper, pretend there's a keeper there and go around him. You can practice your chipping. You can do all that as well. But just remember that finishing, like a lot of skills in soccer, is going to come down a lot to instinct, and the way you develop your instincts with finishing is you practice it over and over again so that when you're in a match, you don't even have to think about it. Your body just kind of reacts. It says, okay, I have a goal scoring opportunity, and you just automatically try and curl it into the corner. So that's the shooting drill. Again, if you go to the actual course, you can see me doing this and explaining it in more detail. There's a lot more to it, and there's also another drill that I do in the shooting lesson, or there are 2 shooting lessons. In the finishing lesson, I do 2 drills. Another drill that incorporates a lot of game-like situations. So if you want to take a look at that, again, it's free for the first 7 days. You do have to put in information, but again, you can cancel that information at any time, which means you won't be charged. So all you have to do is do that. You get your 7-day free trial and take a look at the drills, take a look at the finishes, take a look exactly at how this drill is supposed to be done, because that's going to help you better understand what you need to do, what you need to work on, what part of the foot you need to hit the ball, what part of the ball you need to hit, what your body position needs to look like, and all of that. But basically, for those of you who are not going to look at that trial, I still recommend taking a look at it because it is free for 7 days. But if you don't, you just want to keep practicing this over and over and over again. And also in the course, there's another shooting drill that involves shooting technique. So your long distance shooting technique, making good contact with the ball, that's in the course as well. But anyway, that's a good one to get you guys started if you want to work on your shooting by yourself. So let's get into the next question. And the next question is how to get up early and work out. And this is actually, although I think someone said, someone commented after that, oh, isn't it obvious? You just set an alarm clock. Well, it's not that easy because There's when you wake up immediately, there's basically two parts of your mind fighting against each other. There's the part of your mind that's motivated to get up and work out, and then there's the comfort part of your mind that's kind of like, well, let's just go back to bed and sleep for 10 more minutes, right? You never want to give in to that comfort part. You don't never want to give in to the part of your brain that's saying go back for 10 minutes. That's the part of your brain that's seeking out comfort. You want to basically, to get up, you need to jump out of bed immediately, stand up and do something. Do some push-ups, jog in place, do something to get your blood pumping immediately, and then go do your workout. Because if you don't get up immediately, and I found this is the case in my experience, if I don't like jump out of bed within 10 seconds of opening my eyes, and 10 seconds is even stretching it, maybe like 5 seconds of opening my eyes, if I don't jump out of bed, I might just go back to sleep and sleep for 30 more minutes or an hour, and then I might lose the opportunity to have the time to work out. So what you want to do is jump out of bed immediately. Definitely set an alarm and jump out of bed immediately. Another good trick is put your alarm far away from you. So what I'll do is my alarm is basically on the other side of my room. So when it goes off, I have to get up. I can't not get out of bed, or else I'm going to have music blaring in my room and possibly even bothering other people in the house. So I have to get up and turn it off. And then when I get up and turn it off, I'll do some push-ups, or I'll do like a jog in place. Sometimes if I'm really groggy, I'll say, okay, you can't turn that alarm off until you've done like 10 push-ups. And by the time I've done my 10 push-ups, you know, my heart's beating a little faster, my blood's flowing a little better. I'll turn it off. Maybe I'll do more push-ups, you know, whatever. And then I'll go do my workout. Another good thing is have your shoes right by your bed. That way you jump out of bed, put your shoes on right away, turn your alarm off, and then just go for a jog or go for something. The thing is you have to wake up your body quickly. I know you're feeling tired when you wake up immediately and your body and your mind is telling you to go back to bed, but that's just because you are just coming out of, you know, an 8-hour or however long sleep of doing nothing, of where you're just lying in place for extended amount of time. So of course your body's going to resist moving at that point. So what you need to do is just realize that within about a minute you'll be awake if you stay up, if you do some exercise, or if you get your blood pumping. So let's just go back on that. So on waking up and making sure you work out, jump out of bed. Don't lazily get out of bed. I mean, whip your covers off and get on your feet as soon as you can when you hear the alarm. Before you turn the alarm off or whatever, I don't know how many push-ups you do, like a few push-ups until your blood's pumping. So you're not doing this for a workout, you're just doing this to wake yourself up. So do a few push-ups, get your blood pumping, or jog in place, or do something active for like 10 seconds to get your kind of body ready to then go work out, then turn your alarm off. And another thing you can do that actually helps you wake up is drink some water right away. Have a water bottle near your bed or in your room and take a few gulps of the water. That actually helps your blood flow. It helps you wake up. And that's something I would definitely recommend as well. So then after you've done all that, you go and do your workout. And trust me, it feels really good when you wake up and do a workout. It's something that like every doctor recommends, anyone who's into their health recommends, is working out as soon as you wake up. It's a great thing to do. I know when I don't do that, when I have days where I, either go back to sleep or I forget to work out in the morning, they don't turn out usually as well as days when I get up and work out. It really, really sets you up for your day very well. It gives you energy. You get your workout in, which is of course good for your health as well. If you're doing soccer practice for your workout, obviously that's good because you're getting in more consistency with your soccer practices. So definitely for those of you out there who don't work out in the morning or don't you could simply just go out and juggle for 10 minutes in the morning, or don't do something active in the morning. I would definitely encourage you to do so. And these are the things that I have found help me wake up and work out. So have your shoes by the bed, have water ready, do some push-ups or something like that before you turn the alarm off, then turn your alarm off, and make sure you drink the water, then go out and do your workout. I found that works very well, especially if you're getting up early. I used to get up, I haven't done it recently, but I used to get up 5 a.m. A few months ago to do workouts, and I would get up at 5, and I had to do all this because it's a hard, it's a hard pitch to tell your body I'm going to get up at 5. So I had to do all of this. I would jump out of bed, I'd put my shoes on, I'd do a few push-ups, turn my alarm off, drink some water, and out I went. But by the time I got back at like 5:30, I felt awake and I felt ready and I got so much done. So definitely something I would recommend is to get up early and work out. It doesn't even have to be a long workout, just something that gets your blood pumping, something that gets you, it can be a 10-minute workout, 20-minute workout, but something that's going to wake you up and get you ready for the day. Get your brain going as well, because it's pumping blood, more blood more quickly to your head, to your brain. So, basically on all fronts, it's really good for you. And I would definitely recommend you make some part of your morning workout soccer related, because that's going to help you as well. Developing that kind of ritual is definitely going to help you. Okay, so we spent a bit of time on that one, but definitely those are the things I recommend if you want to do it. Just having an alarm might not do it, because you could just turn off the alarm and go back to bed. I recommend, again, shoes up by the bed. Do some push-ups, sit-ups, jogging place, something. Get your blood pumping. Drink some water, then go and do it. Okay, so next question. The next question is asked. It was a very, I wasn't going to answer this question, but because I think you put #hard work, which means you stay to the end, I am going to answer it. So it's tips on becoming a pro at 17. And, it's a very vague question, because so I'm trying to think of how to answer this. I mean, the best thing you can really do is work on your game as much as you can and be proactive. When you're 17, depending on where you are, if you're in the United States, that's when you're getting ready to make the jump to college soccer. If you're not in the United States, maybe you're trying to make the jump to professional academy, professional team, reserve team, whatever it may be. So it's different per territory, I suppose, but basically just make sure you are, at any age, I mean, you need to make sure you're working on your game every single day. That should be, self-explanatory at the moment. Make sure you're working every single day on your game, every single day. Be working on your skills, be consistent, do the morning workout like we just went over. But for turning pro at 17, like specifically, it's like 16 to 18, you need to start becoming more proactive, because if you're not picked up by an academy, if you're not having coaches come to you at that point, you need to start going to the coaches. You need to be the one that's going out there, because no one's going to make it happen for you. Sometimes if you're extremely, extremely talented, someone will spot you. But I'm talking about it's so like next superstar kind of thing. And don't worry if that's not you. That's very few players. And sometimes a lot of luck is involved with that, right place, right time. But if you're 17 and looking to do it, you need to be proactive. You need to be going to tryouts for teams. You need to be contacting coaches. You need to be maybe even looking for an agent. You need to be, being proactive about it. And if you are in America, you should be looking at colleges too, because a college route is a good way to go to develop as a player and even see if you want to make the jump to professional soccer. If you go to a good college, you could potentially make it to the draft, or even maybe a USL team will pick you up, or there's a ton of soccer leagues in America now that are professional. Recently, a lot of them became professional recently. There was one I almost was a part of. There's tons of them. So, there's plenty. If you're a good player and you work on your game a lot, there's probably a team that you can get on. You just have to be proactive. You have to look for them. You have to, follow them. You have to follow them on social media, see when they have tryouts, follow their email lists, start talking to coaches, ask them, are you having tryouts? How do you ask them, how do you usually pick up local talent? You have to be doing this. So there's no real one answer to this. It's just a combination of making sure you're good, making sure you're practicing, because again, you're not going to make it if you're not good enough. So you need to make sure you're working on your game. Again, I still believe most players can become good enough if they put in the effort. And I mean, a lot of effort, but you need to make sure that you are working on your game every single day. Give yourself the best chance so when you finally do get that tryout, or you finally go to that combine, or you finally get a college or a professional coach comes to one of your matches finally, make sure you've been working on your game so that you can show them basically that you're good enough to make that jump. You're good enough to make that leap, okay? So again, there's no real specific tips on this. You just need to start being proactive, okay? Do all those things I mentioned. Don't blame anyone else, especially. A lot of times I'll see a lot of players or just people in general be playing the victim card, saying, well, oh, this player went pro, but that's because he knew people, or that's because he, he started talking, whatever the reason is. If you don't know people, get to know the right people, contact the right people. I mean, these people don't just magically know people. And if they do, that's not going to help your situation to complain about it. So go out there, be proactive, look for tryouts, look for teams, research local teams. You might be surprised what local teams are around you that are professional. You don't need to be in the Premier League to be a professional. You don't need to be in La Liga. Of course, you should always aim as high as you can, and you should have lofty ambitions, but that should be to motivate you. and hopefully get to the top. Okay, so that's that question. Okay, we got about 10 minutes left. This might actually be a bit of a shorter podcast because I only have one question left here. But that's fine. You know, most of them are usually 30 minutes. I'm okay with doing one that's a little shorter than 30 minutes. So the last question I have here is, do pitch conditions matter? And I think I remember saying I would answer this. And the short answer is yes and no. But here's what I'll say. You shouldn't use it as an excuse. If you're asking, like, see, I'm very tentative about answering this question because you should never use the pitch conditions as an excuse to why you're playing poorly or why you can't, or like, oh, I had a bad game because the pitch sucked. That shouldn't be an excuse because everyone's playing on the same pitch in that match. If a player has a good game on the pitch you didn't have a good game on, that means you probably could have had a good game. Okay? But in reality, yes. I mean, if you play on the Wembley pitch, it's going to be much nicer than a Sunday League pitch. You know, I used to play on a pitch near my house when I was really young, like 7, 8, 9, called Baxter Field, and it was never good. It was just dirt, or it was patchy. You know, the bounce was bad, the roll was bad, but we still won games there. I still remember having some very good performances there. But yeah, when I moved onto a turf field, it was a lot better because the bounce was true. You know, it didn't bobble when it was rolling to me. You know, my first touch wouldn't, you know, bounce off the pitch somewhere else. You know, when I went to shoot, the ball wouldn't pop up in the air. Yes, that will make a difference. But the fact of the matter is, if you are practicing on a bad pitch, don't use it as an excuse. Just try and get used to it. Try and make the best of what you have. And the good thing is, if you can get good at playing on a bad pitch, if you can become good at playing on a crappy, dirty, you know, patchy pitch, and you play well on that pitch, imagine how well you're going to play when you're playing on a good pitch, when you're playing on turf, where you're playing on very nice grass. It's just going to make you a better player. So, again, pitches, it does matter and it doesn't matter. As far as you're concerned, it doesn't matter, okay? So if you're on a bad pitch, don't make the excuse that, oh, well, I'm playing crappy because, you know, the pitch is poor. Instead, just go, oh, I'm going to play my best on this pitch no matter what. It's the same for everybody playing today, so it doesn't really matter. And then if you take that mentality, play as best as you can, and go from there. Then when you do get the chance to play on turf, or you get I mean, I don't even like turf, but it's better than a crappy pitch, or you get the chance to play on nice grass, and I've played on nice grass, and it's awesome. But if you get the chance to do that, you're just going to play better because you're used to being able to control the ball that's bouncing to you crazily, and you're used to doing that. So imagine how good you're going to be when the ball's actually going to come to you in a true path. Okay, so that is the last question. I noticed we have a bit more time, so I might explain the course a little more to you guys. I don't know. But first, let's do the hashtag. Do hashtag bad pitch. Or something like that. We'll do hashtag bad pitch and then leave me your question. Remember, if you do the hashtag, it makes me realize that you have watched till the end, or listened to the end, I should say, which just makes it more likely for me to answer your question. Like in today's one, I answered the tips on becoming a pro at 17 specifically because he put hashtag hard work, which was the one in last week's. That's pretty much the main reason I answered that question. So hashtag bad pitch is what it is to this week. You do that, put your question, and I will probably answer it if I have time. Remember, if I don't get an opportunity to answer your question, don't worry. Keep asking. We do one of these every week. Usually, I know we didn't have one last week, but usually we do them every week. So there's plenty of time to have your question answered, but keep them coming. Even if you've had one answered before, keep them coming. Also, ask me some questions you want to have answered in the 5,000 subscriber special Q&A. Just make sure you tell me it's a question for the Q&A and not a question for the podcast. And remember, these questions don't have to be soccer specific. They can be anything, okay? For the podcast, they have to be soccer specific. But for the Q&A, they can be personal. They can be about my life. They can be just a regular question you want to have answered. Doesn't really matter. And once again, guys, I want to mention the course that I just released. And the reason I want to mention it again is because I really, truly believe it's going to be something that can really, really help your game. Every single lesson comes with drills. Every single lesson comes with an attachment that you can look at that goes into more depth on each skill. You know, each lesson, it's organized in a way to where you go from easy things, or not easy things, but things that are going to help you develop a foundation, to more advanced things like skill moves and finishing and, using your whole body, using your whole foot, things of that nature. So if you can afford it, I really recommend that you go for it. Again, like, you can cancel at any time. It's not a problem. Also, the website that it's hosted on, curious.com, has other soccer lessons on there that I think you'll like. I'm going to actually be posting on there more than just this course. So if you do end up paying for it and you go on there, you'll have access to anything I ever post on there. As long as you're a member of Curious, you'll always have access to the things I post on there. So that's something to keep in mind as well. And there's just like videos and courses on just a wide array of subjects. So if you have interests outside of soccer, there's probably a course on there for whatever it is else that you like. So definitely something to consider. But guys, again, even if you can't afford it, even if you don't have the $15, I think it is a month or something like that, which isn't that much, but even if you can't do that, do the free trial. It's 7 days. Pick 7 days when you're going to be able to watch all the videos and actually do the techniques. I don't care if you even write down the practices. You can get all the attachments too. I'm pretty sure you can download the attachments. So all of that, you don't want to miss out on that. So at least do the 7-day trial, because I don't want you to miss out on it. I don't want you to be someone who hasn't had the opportunity to actually access at least some parts of the course. Okay, so make sure you do that. Make sure you at least access it. Again, I'll have the link in the description for you. And I just don't want you to miss out, because I put a lot of time into this course, and it would be a disappointment to me if I didn't get as many people as possible at least doing the 7-day trial. All right, guys. So definitely take a look at that. Remember to like and share this podcast. Also, if you're new to Simply Soccer, thank you for watching this or listening to this podcast all the way to the end. You're a true champion for doing that. But you should also subscribe and stick around. We're going to be releasing many more videos. We just hit 5,000 subscribers not that long ago, I think a week ago. And I'm definitely have some changes planned for the channel to do some better videos, more in-depth videos and things like that. So you'll definitely want to be a part of that. And we always release at least like 4 videos a week, 3 to 5 usually. So don't worry, there will always be fresh content for you to watch. Okay, so thank you once again, everyone, for watching and listening. I know this one's a bit shorter. I'll try and make the next one longer. It's basically going to be based on how many questions I get and how many good questions I get. We had some pretty good ones this week, which I'm happy with. But once again, thanks for listening. Check out the course. Remember, 7-day free trial. Don't miss out on that. And I'll see you on the next podcast.